Be Frank Network. Welcome to another very special episode of Happy Never After, where typically we talk about getting over divorce and redemption stories and breakups, which we'll probably talk about here. But I have a very special episode with Tonnisha and TG of the Combat Divas podcast, who I've been following for forever, and I love you so much. And
thank you.
I feel like there's a couple of types of women, and there's the women that will like become your friends and kind of just leech onto you until you are done giving them the things that they need from you and then kind of move on, or are mean girls. And then there's like real women that support each other. And I feel like you two are those type of ladies.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just too much going on out here to be just fighting with each other all the time.
All the time.
It's enough.
So you started your podcast because you're two ladies in the Army.
Yeah, well, kind of. We started it because, we were two female veterans, and we just had issues that were unique to women veterans, you know, and
such
as discussing how we overcame those obstacles. Like, for example, just getting benefits. You know, benefits was more geared toward our male counterparts. It was like, you know, we wasn't recognized as actually going to war and actually, you know, fighting the same battle. So it was harder for us to get benefits at first. And now we started to kind of steamroll that. Now it's like, oh, you go to war too. So we got that going.
Okay, but that's very like surface, and I love that, but I feel like you have way more issues than your male counterparts.
Getting deep down in it. I mean, just serving is. Go ahead.
We had.
Sorry.
No, we just had stuff like we always have conversations amongst ourselves, and it gets pretty deep when we're talking about service, talking about civilian life and everything. And we figured maybe we not the only ones going through it, so we wanted to bring our conversations to everybody, and to hopefully maybe other people are having the same thing, and they'll reach out to us, and we'll discuss it on the show, or just even discuss it with them. So it was just a way to get just broadcast our conversations and realizing like other people would probably benefit from it too.
Yeah. I mean, you're two hot ladies, so I'm sure like the rapey factor. Well, I mean, we can talk about.
This is an issue unique to women. More so happens in women. Men have problems too in this area in the military, but more so women. Yeah. A lot of men get raped in the military. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
We just talk about it more, but we talk about everything more. Women are just like talkers. So like men won't talk about it. We're like, let me tell you what happened. But as far as sexual assault goes, as you probably saw last year and this year, with all the cases coming forward, it's just like being a pretty girl in the military makes you a target. And it's terrible. It's like a feast out there. And like you really have to try to maintain some type of military bearing while saying, you know, fuck off, you know, at the same time. So I think both of us have experienced that a lot.
Yeah, hell yeah, you're hotties. I would try to. No,
I know.
I'm like,
blush this shit.
Stop. Go ahead, stop.
Before we talk about me fingering you. No, I'm just kidding. Let's. How did you guys decide to go into the Army?
Well, for me, I couldn't pay for college, so it was the smooth talking recruiter was like, "Hey, I know a way you can pay for college and get a career." And I was like, "And we'll give you $20,000." So I was poor, and it's the craziest thing I ever did for money, but I ain't listening. And it was at first it was terrible, but then all of a sudden I became Miss Army, so it was a good choice for me. But
mine's the same, about the same. My mom's single parent and raising me and my brother, and she couldn't afford to send us to college. My brother would end up going to like a city college, and she told me to find the money. She was like, "You want to go to school? Find the money." And I was at one of those college fairs within my high school, and it started with me just wanting this cool pencil from the National Guard table, and next thing I know, I'm scheduled to take the test and go.
They smooth talking, man.
Because it's at 100% it said 100% tuition, and I was like, oh, I want the pencil, and then he started talking to me, and I got the pencil and 18 years of service so far.
Well, and then maybe some good benefits eventually. Okay, what happened? You sign up, and then how much time do you have to train for boot camp?
Well, for our job, it's like 15 weeks, 16 weeks altogether.
Okay.
So the first 9 weeks, and then like 6, 7 weeks after that.
Yeah,
but
about 9 weeks.
I sucked at boot camp, and we talk about this in the book. Like I like broke my nose on the firing range. I fucking almost blew myself up with a grenade. My nickname was fucktard. So it was just like I really was bad at it, you know. And the last day of basic training,
You're selling yourself.
Yeah, I was terrible. The last day of basic training, my drill sergeant came to me and was like, hey, you were shitty. You're a terrible soldier, waste of flesh. Hopefully when you get into the big army, you can turn your shit into sugar. And honestly, those words stuck with me the rest of my career. And I was determined to be a better, and I rocked it. After that, nobody would know. If I tell people this story now, they were like, no way, you're so squared away. And I was like, I sucked. I was terrible.
Did you guys watch Police Academy?
Yeah.
Remember the girl with the little boy, Hooks or whatever her name was? That's you. You're like, I want to be a police
Yeah.
officer.
Exactly. That's me. So I sucked at basic
Well,
training.
my basic wasn't bad. I didn't break myself. I did pretty good. I excelled. I'm like, I probably wasn't one of like the top soldiers, but my running increased, my endurance increased, like my shooting increased, like everything was good. I got in trouble a few times, but other than that, I'm like, well, not having a battle buddy.
What's that mean?
So we always have to have a battle buddy wherever we go, whatever we do. And I got in trouble. It was something I had to write a letter of apology or some stupid shit for doing something. For the life of me right now, I cannot remember, but I know that I was in trouble quite a few times.
Was it like being stubborn?
I was very stubborn. Still very stubborn. But it was one thing that stayed with me was they try to deprogram you. So you know when you're talking to somebody, you always want to look them in the eyes. Mm-hmm. So the drill sergeants, they start off like, you can't look me in the eyes. So you need to pick a spot on my uniform and stare at that spot when you're talking to me. And we got a chance to speak to call home. Mm-hmm. So it was like 60 soldiers, and all of us supposed to get 2 minutes on the phone. But since it was hot as shit in Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, he was like, I don't want to sit out here in the fucking 2 hours. So everybody could get 1 minute from the time someone says hello on the phone. So I got up there, I got my phone card. I'm like, I hear my mom's voice, and I'm like, Mom, I miss you. Mom. And all of a sudden the phone clicked, it hangs up. So I'm like, well, I still got about 45 seconds to be on the phone.
Yeah.
So I run to the drill sergeant. I didn't have a battle buddy. Run to the drill sergeant. I was like, drill sergeant, the phone hung up. And I'm looking dead in the eyes. I was like, drill sergeant, I don't know what happened. I heard my mom and the phone hung up. I don't understand what happened. Like the phone just hung up. And he was like, And I'm thinking he hearing me. I'm like, yes, he's hearing me. He understands. He was like, good. He was like, can you say that again without eyeballing shit? I didn't know what to do. I'm like, I don't even have asthma. And I think I was having an attack. I was just like, I think I tried to swallow every tear in my body. I'm like,
I would have cried. I would have
made
made
me
it.
run around the building.
While you're almost in tears.
Yeah, in tears. And I was like, what the fuck did I just do? I was like, what did I do? I just ruined my life. I don't know what I did.
You're
Worst
like,
mistake ever.
Yeah. Well, and then I ended up my phone call with my mom talking about my diarrhea or something. That was like hard, you know.
It was interesting, but I mean, they do break you down and build you back up. That's for sure. You come out a whole different person.
Yeah, I feel like so you're both in the Army.
Yeah.
Yes. I feel like the Marines do something different to their. Right?
They're worse. Yeah.
They come out a little crooked,
like
you know?
It's almost a lobotomy that goes on.
Yeah, it's crazy.
They come out with, we got this inter-service banter where we kind of fuck with Marines. We call them crayon eaters, shit like that. But it's just that they're just, they're grunting all the time. Like, you don't know what the fuck they're talking about half the time. It's a bunch of grunts and shit.
Because everybody has a job. Like, all of us, we have a military job. Like, Air Force have a job, Navy have a job. And Army have a job, and we was like, the only Marines job is kill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still like, what's your job in the Army? It was like, what's your job in the Marines? Kill. Yeah. Like, that's, and we fuck with them.
What was your job you're still in service? Are you still in service?
I'm medically retired not too long ago.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Mine is transportation, truck driving.
Nobody thought that you weren't medically retired. Okay, Miss Grin.
Throw it in there medically.
I understand.
She's like, I broke my nose walking to the store.
I was in an accident overseas, and it just kind of I never got better.
What?
Not a bad accident with my fault. It was just it was bad. It was so bad.
What happened?
No, I guess it's embarrassing now, so I got to talk about it after I told y'all.
I've shit
I was all
myself.
screwed up,
You
but
know, we've on a date, so we've all.
I was helping another soldier out, one of my lower enlisted soldiers with a truck. He didn't see me coming around the truck. He slammed the door open, armored door. It hit me in the head. I was unconscious for a while, and I tried to just keep trucking on and keep working, and it caught up with me, and I started having seizures after that.
Sorry.
She was like, it's all for the game, so motherfuckers having seizures and shit.
I like this laughing my pain shit you got going on here.
I know. I'm like, oh, whoops, sorry.
Yeah, it was funny. It was like, oh shit, seizures. My bad. I thought you were just a fuck up.
It felt very cartoonish, you know, like, and then the door opened, and it was like, doing, you know.
Yeah. That's how I felt. It literally, the little star before my eyes, and then boom, I was down.
Oh my God! Do you have any lasting effects from that?
I still have seizures to this day. Yeah.
Do people still sexually assault you?
No, no.
Oh, I was like, damn, you don't have it anymore. You know.
No, I just had like hemorrhaging on my brain, and so.
Oh my God!
I'm okay now. I mean, just a little medication.
Just a touch of blood on the brain. Yeah. No big deal. I actually just interviewed right before you two Kyle Grooms, who's a comedian who had blood on the brain because a tumor burst.
Oh my God.
And yeah, he had seizures, and then he got funnier finally after that. But no, I'm just kidding. He's great. But yeah, it's crazy. Both of you right in a row. Like legitimately, I just interviewed him. Oh my God.
Blood on the brain was.
Right.
Oh my God. So you're a truck driver. So you're a badass driver.
Yeah, and wait.
She's pretty badass.
No, I'm badass, but not a badass driver. Yeah.
Well, my first husband, I've been married a few times.
Three, right?
3 times, yeah. Dudes can't drive. They get distracted.
That's true. Yeah. They do. And they say we can't drive. But yeah, we drove some long hours. Both of us were truck drivers. Yeah. So we drove back and forth from Kuwait to Iraq on our second deployment together.
What were you carrying?
You need just about everything, carrying
ammunition, cargo,
water, food, mail.
Was it unsafe?
Yes.
The ammo definitely was. But yeah, anything from over Iraq roads is unsafe. Dangerous, yeah.
What's the craziest? They have bomb. Okay, so what? My dad was an EOD in the Army, so he's insane. So what is it in your book? The craziest thing I have?
Yeah, it's
So don't tell us the craziest thing that's in your book. Read the book, everyone. But what's the next craziest thing that you cut out of the book?
Cut out? I don't know if we cut out a lot.
You didn't kill any kittens?
I think all the hard stuff went into this book.
Yeah. Everything? Okay, so give us a little teaser of what's in there. What's the nuttiest thing that you saw over there?
Overseas, man.
As far as like violence, like when you guys were driving.
Oh well, we were a part of a bunch of mortar attacks in both deployments. We both deployed twice.
Oh my.
So mortar attacks where they just bombed the base. Actually, Tonnisha lost somebody really. She watched him.
That was the nutty one. Would it be nuttiest? More like tragic? More
tragic.
More tragic.
I wouldn't say nutty. Yeah.
It was our first full day up in Iraq because we did our 3 weeks of training in Kuwait and we went up to Iraq. And that was our first full day on base. And then they always trained us to, far as like mortar rounds, you get down because shrapnel flies up and all this other stuff. And I'm like, okay, cool. And I'm from the projects. I was like, I'm gunshots, boom, boom, boom. Like, I'm used to this shit, whatever. But when you start hearing like bombs hit the ground and the ground shakes, it's a whole other type of situation. And me and my friends, a couple, and like my brother was deployed with me too. And we were coming from the chow hall, and then all of a sudden we hear like these little popping sounds from a distance, and we didn't pay no mind to it. But then those were the mortars being launched, and they just started hitting the ground around us, and I was frozen. Like all I seen was like the blue sky, and I was just frozen. And my friend, the one that did die, I can hear him yelling, telling me to get down, and I'm just standing there. And then I see my brother run. And then I'm like, that's my big brother. I'm like, what the fuck? Is he leaving me? I'm like, I'm finna run where he goes. Cause I'm like, he's the big brother. He's the leader. He know where he's going. So I'm running after him. I'm like, I get down and then I start running after him. And then I'm looking behind to see my friend. And then next thing I know, I heard somebody say, we have to call a medevac. And it was him that caught the shrapnel, like in the back of his head and like in his side.
Oh my God.
So later on, it was like he wasn't recovering. They said he didn't have any brain activity.
How did that affect you?
I didn't eat for like a week.
You didn't eat for a week?
Mm-mm.
I'm not going to make a bad joke.
Probably lost a lot of weight.
I know. I was like, oh my
God. Yeah. That was fucked up. But yeah. I'm sure I did. I didn't want to leave my area.
Sorry.
I didn't want to leave my area. But the part that messed me up was he had been to a deployment before. He went through Desert Storm, and I was 18 at the time, and I think he was about 41.
You were 18.
So he was like dad figure, and he was like, "Oh, I got you, baby girl. I got you. I've been through this shit before. I got you. I'll protect you." And then when he died, I was like, "Damn, we still got a whole fucking like 11 fucking months of this shit." And then he died, and I was like, well, shit, I'm just gonna stay inside. Like, who the fuck is gonna protect me? And that's why I'm like, I felt like I didn't have a lot of faith in my battle buddies around me, because I was like, that was that one person that felt like family.
Mm-hmm.
And we were in a predominantly white unit. It was only like, five? It was 5 Black people, and one of them was including my brother.
How did that feel? Was there a distinct difference between? You could feel the difference?
Yes.
I think that's all over the Army, though.
Yeah, but like, yes, some of it was overt difference, and then some of it was like a little subtle, and then you got the ones that that had never seen a Black person like outside of TV.
Yeah.
Like, that was the awkward part. I was like, you've never interacted.
Honestly, that's how I grew up. I grew up in Rockford, Michigan. There was it was all white Catholics. That was it. Yeah.
Catholic on top.
I know. Crazy. That's why I'm a whore. No, I'm just kidding. But
oh my God, I love you.
That Midwestern growing up. But that's all over the Army, though. It's just, it happens.
It's like I'm bored, so I'm a fuck.
I know.
So I get free. That's it.
It's the only way to touch God. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Oh my God. Okay, so can you? I mean, I'm white. You know, I grew up, and I'm not ugly. So I grew up very with a lot of privileges, and I know them. I use them often.
At least you know it. Cool.
Discounts are great. Upgrades amazing. Thank you for all the free ones. But I don't live on that side, so who is mean to you? I'll kill him. Who is mean?
It's not even, I think it's not it's understanding the cultural differences and trying to understand it. And military people are awkward. So instead of asking me or asking each other about differences, we just make as many stereotypical jokes and see what sticks, like see where do we cross the line, So like at chow time, we just start making jokes like, hey, it's fried chicken in there. You better hurry up and get it. And, that would be a white soldier to me. And then I would have to reply like, oh, Salisbury Steak Day. So we would just continue on banter like that. But instead of actually having later we had that conversation, but we grew close over those inappropriate and in-your-face kind of conversations. And some of them became like some of our closest friends still today.
Mm-hmm.
And, some, they just wanted to cross the line, just see how far they can go. You got those ones.
Yeah.
You just end up finding out a lot about other cultures and stereotypes that we had in our mind that, oh, this is how it goes. We were able to either break barriers or, confirm, yes, that shit's true, but don't weaponize it. But that shit is right.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, come on. If no one knows it's true, they're living in a dreamland. Or they're just being ignorant.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
So you go to boot camp, you're truck drivers, you become handicapped. Several
first,
times.
though.
Several times.
I went to Afghanistan first, no handicap there, and then I went to Iraq.
Thank God you're pretty. You know what I mean? Thank God.
I was actually a good soldier.
I know you was. I know you was a good soldier. I know. I know you.
Thank God you're friends with her. You know what I mean?
I had to overcome a lot, man. I had to overcome a lot.
Yeah, yourself.
I was my own. I was. Man. I had to learn how to be a great person. I mean, I did.
How'd you guys meet? Just working?
In the Army?
We were recruiting assistants together.
Yeah.
Oh,
so we
cool.
would help recruiters go out and get recruits and drivers, trucks and shit like that. And she was pregnant actually at the time. I was brand new to the Army. Yeah. And I used to drive her around and get her snacks and shit between recruits because she was pregnant. And that's how we met. Yeah, and we kind of grew close after that. then I came back from Afghanistan, and she was going to Iraq. And she was like, "Hey, I want to go on. Just come on this deployment. Let's go.
Come with me."
And come with me on this deployment. Who says that?
Yeah, when I came off from Afghanistan, I ended up going right back on the second deployment with those guys. Yeah. It wasn't too bad. So.
Do you have a family at this point?
During that point, I didn't have a family yet. I didn't get a family till 5 years ago.
Okay.
Well, I had a child, but I have a family.
That's family.
Got a kid. Guy was shit, but
they all are. It doesn't matter. Okay, so you have. Wait, you have.
He's beautiful. He's 12.
Oh, he's 12. That's such a fun age because they can do stuff, but you can still control them.
And on top of that, my kid, he's like an inch shorter than me right now. I'm 5'7".
Oh.
He's tall, so it's gonna get to the point where I'm gonna have to just chop his ass in the throat. I was like, I ain't gonna whoop you, put you over my knee. I'm gonna have to just fuck you up real quick.
So you were pregnant. Yeah. Wait, did you bring him with you on your next deployment? Wait, timeline. When did you?
So my first deployment was 2004 to 2005. About 3 years later, like in 2008, I got pregnant. And she was on her deployment in Afghanistan in 2008 to 2009.
That's correct.
And then we got called up to go back overseas in 2010. Yeah. So we went from 2010 to 2011 together.
Yeah.
What would you do if you had a baby and you had to go off deployed? Just bring it? Baby Bjorn?
Nothing. Find somebody to keep it.
No, you gotta leave it.
Somebody gotta leave it home.
You gotta leave it. You can't bring it.
The Army has like these family care plans in place. So like you have to. They make you get a sitter, or they make you have somebody to take care of your child. You got to sign all type of notarized documents and shit. Like, they won't let you go anywhere until you do that. And if you don't do it, you get in trouble. They'll kick you out of the Army for having a kid.
How is the Army affecting your son? Does it affect him, or are you like you have to join?
No, because when I deployed the first time, he was a year and a half when I left. So he doesn't even remember that I was even deployed. So my mom, she keeps him when I have to do like going away to schools for like 2-3 weeks, or if I go off to training for like a couple of weeks, my mom, you going to the Army? Okay, bye. Pretty cool. And then on top of that, I guess he take it different than the quote unquote regular kid because my son is autistic. So
have you watched Love on the Spectrum?
No. What is that?
It's my favorite show. It's autistic children that, they're adults at this point, but that it's like it's how they're trying to find love. And so there's a love coach that comes in and teaches them, and I've watched it 4 times, every single episode 4 times, and everyone that comes over, I'm like, you have to watch this. We all cry together. It's the most loving, best show. It's so good.
Where can I find it?
On Netflix.
I don't know why I haven't seen that. I probably just bypassed and I was like, Love on the Spectrum.
It's so good.
Check that out. Definitely got to check that out now.
Dude, you have so many obstacles, and you're so positive. That's incredible.
I mean, you gotta laugh to keep from crying some days, honestly.
Yeah. That's intense. I'm
make jokes
impressed.
all fucking day. All day.
I know. I was sexually trafficked when I was 30, and I was like, oh my God, I'm so flattered. And I was like, I'm so old. Thank you for picking me. And then, like, I made that joke. See, it's no one gets
What?
it.
It's not funny, but it's like, what?
Now y'all
How you throw that in casual conversation?
Like so casual, like so. When I was 30,
I just,
but whatever.
Well, I thought we were all sharing.
Please tell us more. Tell us more, please.
I didn't mean to laugh.
I keep trying to make jokes about this, but nothing's hitting. And then I made a joke one time, and I was like, I went down in a Mercedes and came back on a bus. Oh God, that sucked. And I was like, and everyone's like, this is horrifying. I was
like, it's dark, but it's dark, and we laugh at dark things.
Yeah, dark humor is pretty funny. So
yes.
Sorry. I'll try to keep a straight face.
God.
I'm sorry that happened to you, though.
Yeah, we truly are sorry. I was like, that's horrific, actually.
It makes me interesting.
You know what else makes me interesting? Best fiends. Ladies, just going to cut into this quick casual story to talk about one of our sponsors, one of my favorite sponsors, Best Fiends. Oh man, this has definitely kept me boredom free for the entire pandemic. If you haven't downloaded it by now, you're crazy. I'm obsessed with this game. It is, you can get it on Apple, you can get it on Google Play. It is such a fun strategy-based game where you never get bored because they're always adding new levels, they're always adding new characters. It's so great. Sometimes I just wake up and I'll have a cup of coffee and I'll play a few games just to get my mind going. And actually, I told one of my clients who is an ex-physics professor who's in his 80s to also play the game to keep his mental acuteness, his mental sharpness. So if you want to stay mentally sharp and in the game and you want to stay boredom free or if you just want to have a good time, download Best Fiends. That's Best Fiends. That's friends without the R. Best Fiends, and you can get that on Apple or on Google Play. Download that bad boy for free. It's really great. All right. Back to your dude. Now, where'd you meet your dude?
I met my husband in the military. He was my superior at the time, and he was not interested in me beforehand, but I don't know. I guess we kind of grew on each other, and so he got out of the unit so that he could ask me out on a date. And so he asked me out, and I said yeah, and we kind of got together after that.
Where'd you guys go on your first date?
We just went to like Olive Garden or some shit like that. We spent most of the time watching movies and talking and shit. We was up to like 3 a.m.
Netflix and
talking, having before Netflix and chilling was a thing. we was just chilling, having a good time, knocking back some tequila,
Nice.
And, having a good time. Before that, I knew I was going to marry this guy though, because before that, I struggled with depression and a little addiction and stuff like that. So I was like on a really bad spiral one day, and I was on the verge of just suicide, really. And right before I ended it all, my phone rang and it was him. And he was just calling just to shoot the shit, like, hey, just checking on how you doing. He was talking about regular.
And he saved your life.
Yeah, he did. And from that day on, he was a good friend after that. And then we ended up dating, and then we ended up,
okay, so that's so cute.
It was quick. Wow. We all thought it was quick. Like, next thing you know, like he had bought her a TV. Next thing you know, they engaged and married. I was like, what the fuck?
Oh my God, my boyfriend bought me a TV on my first date.
See? That's a thing.
That's a sign. That's a sign.
I know. Oh my God, it's meant to be.
Men that buy TVs are keepers.
And I didn't get it. Look, and I didn't get a TV.
Look where we are. Okay, look where we are.
Yeah, he's great though. We had a baby quick. I mean, we got together quick as hell. And before I know it, here I am, a damn mom and wife and shit.
Okay, so we skimmed over this depression addiction thing pretty quickly.
It was like the sex trafficking.
I know.
So we brushed past real shit.
Trauma. Just brush past it.
Anyway.
Let me crack a joke.
No, I was addicted to uppers. Like I had a really, really serious cocaine addiction for a while. Like, I have a DNA septum, I'm sure, from fucking cocaine, but
well,
I'm better now. I've been clean for quite some time.
Good,
You know?
nice,
It'll get
awesome.
hard for her sometimes, I guess, but yeah.
Every day I wake up and say to myself, I won't do coke.
Really?
I joke about this a lot, but I really mean it every single day. So, I mean, I joke about it, but, you know, beforehand, my mom was an addict and my father was an addict too. So I thought I would never, ever fall down that road. I couldn't understand it. Like, I've never been an addict. I've never been an addict. I mean, and everybody says it until they're addicted to something,
Right.
you know, and I do have an addictive personality. So I watch mostly what I do. I just really like to be up. I don't know what it was about the uppers that just attracted me so much.
Do you think that you're trying to avoid the down, the depression?
I am. I'm trying to avoid the down and keep up with, you know, deadlines and pressure and shit. So at the time, that's what I was really
The
doing.
down is good. It's very mellow.
I hate
very
down,
relaxing.
bro.
The down
I can't do
good.
down.
The down is your friend.
Yeah, for
Pretty
sure.
good at the time.
Yeah,
At the time I had no median, so it was like it wasn't regular down. It was like down, like depression down.
Did you not have the tools to manage the down?
I did not. I had none of them. All I had was war, and that was fucking it. Like that's all I knew was the army. So by this time, I had no coping skills. I had no therapy, had no any of that. So after that situation, though, I did go get help. So I started a regimen after that, and
finding the right therapy is hard.
Yeah, I fired a therapist because her office was cluttered. Yeah, you got lucky.
I found a pretty good therapist to talk to me, help give me some tools. I mean, because you all you can do at therapy sometimes is download. Then you don't have any tools to fucking get back together. It's like, oh, I got all that off my chest. Now what? It's like you need something to help you get through. Like, what should I do when I feel like this? You know?
Yeah. Do you ever feel like you get to a therapist session and you only have a couple things to talk about, and you're like, well, that's it. I failed at fucking up this week. You know?
Yeah.
All the time, honestly.
Yeah.
Just kind of like, well, ain't shit happened this week.
Yeah, right.
I
did okay.
You know, we can cut this short. You get home
it's
to
like
your wife.
A comedy session after that. It's like, so what'd you do?
I don't want to make up shit. You're like, well,
how was your weekend? You know?
Think about this bitch that was talking shit last week.
Right.
I ain't finished talking about that part. Let's talk about that shit.
The point of therapy is to get out of therapy at some point. So
try to manage on your own. I don't know.
Yeah. It's awkward when you don't have nothing to talk about. You just be like, so.
How you doing good, man?
They just stare at you and you're like, anyway,
Exactly. So I got lucky though, and every day is I won't say it's a challenge, but every day I do make up my mind to do the right thing. So
that's incredible. You ladies are fucking incredible. It's amazing.
We enjoy you. I mean, I don't know if I've laughed this much on a podcast that we've done for somebody else in a very long time. And we've done a couple of them lately, and I have literally my cheeks fucking hurt. Like, I've been laughing this whole fucking time. Sorry.
I don't even know how. One day I stumbled on your podcast, and I was like, I think I love them. I do.
I appreciate
Oh
that.
my God. Okay, so I don't want to ask too many questions that are in your book, so I want everyone to read the book. What is the book called? Where can they find it? Where can they find you guys?
Sure. It's going to be the first book of minis. Damn, I can't even talk. The first book of minis.
First book of
anyway, it's called the Combat Divas Chronicles,
nice.
Survival Guide. A boost to heal journey from trauma to triumph. Yeah. And it's a collage. That's her favorite collage.
Because a collage.
It's a collage of our stories and how we've combated various situations like friendships, relationships,
sexual trauma.
Yeah, definitely. Suicide, being broken and coming back from it. Yeah. There's a lot of us spilled in there. There's a lot of vulnerability. But it's also a lot of triumph. It's a lot of victory. So it's a lot of laugh at my pain too. So I think it's a good balance.
A lot of that today.
But a lot of people see obstacles and then that's it. But then we got to overcome them somehow, you know? So what do you do? Like you just keep talking about what the fuck is wrong over and over again. But at some point you got to get to the, okay, now what?
I feel like you guys don't even have that in you where you feel sorry for yourself and move forward.
What happened?
Oh,
Don't let us fool you.
oh, it happened.
We only had 40 minutes.
I was like, good therapy made me not want to shoot myself in the face.
Oh,
So,
God.
no,
Yeah,
we have those moments
now though.
You're both
'Cause-
suicidal? Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, I had to. I had one of my friends. He came over to remove my gun from the house. This was like beginning of 2019, and because I was thinking about it too much. It was in my closet, and I was like, why am I like thinking about it so much? Like, what if I just grab it? What if I just load it? And I started thinking about putting it to my head, like, so what if I just do it now? Like, what would it be like? Would people miss me? Would it be all over? And I kept thinking about it so much that it scared me. And then I told him, and I'm just casual. I was like, oh, I mean, I was thinking about this gun a lot. Like, man, just thinking about just loading it. And I'm like, and I'm just talking, and his face was like, I talked to him on like the Google Duo or whatever, and his face was like he started, like, all of a sudden his eyes started to well up with tears, and I was like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" I was like, "Look, just come and just come and get it." Like, he got here in like 15 fucking minutes. I don't know how he got here.
You guys have some great people around you.
Yeah.
We have been fortunate to have some good people around us, and it's just, I mean, learning to cope, and depression is an actual chemical imbalance. I used to think that it had to be something happening for me to be depressed. Like, my life had to suck for me to feel a way. But working it out,
It's
knowing
not
that
Yeah.
sometimes shit happens,
Because the behavioral health lady told me, she was like, sometimes it don't be anything wrong. You could just be just sad, and just to be sad. It doesn't have to be trauma. It doesn't have to be anything that happened to you. Sometimes you just feel
Chemically
that way.
off.
Yeah. So we try to fix it now. But you're a trainer, so I know you work through this a lot with working out and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. I'm a therapist to a lot of my clients.
I can
Yeah, it's a
imagine.
lot of that. I'm like, lift heavier? I don't know.
But I mean, that's what a lot of people in the gym are working through some shit. So I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Why not?
especially now during coronavirus when people are trapped at home and there's this weird base level of stress that is on top of everything. So I am doubly impressed by you guys for finishing a book during fucking pandemic. Are you crazy? That's insane.
That was crazy.
It was
was
insane.
crazy.
Yeah, but it was
That was crazy.
like, yeah,
That
we can
takes
take on
some
the challenge.
follow through.
Let's try.
And
Yeah.
me, I have to work from. I'm still working from home, remotely. So, and then my son, he does school, remotely. We in his little classroom right now. Had to spread because it smelled like boy. But yeah, so it was just a lot. And then on top of that, we trying to get through just being isolated a lot, and we kept making jokes like, oh, we're alone, but together, but we're really alone,
apart.
but together apart. Like, we just kept,
Yeah, geez. At least you guys get to be in the same room.
This
Yeah.
is true. This is true. We do. So we don't live that far from each other, so
Yeah.
we just come over.
You have a bunch of female veterans, right, that you network with and talk to
Yeah.
and all work everything out with each other.
Yeah.
What about wives of, do they have their own group or
They do, actually. They have a lot of their own little groups. It's almost funny because they like take rank seriously with the wives. So like they're like almost competing with one another sometimes. But they need a support group too, because we're unpacking a lot of shit sometimes, veterans are.
Mhm.
And it is hard to care for somebody who is stonewall, who don't want to talk, who's always on the edge, who's hyper vigilant. It's hard because most of the wives and spouses they just want you to talk. Like, hey,
Mhm.
just talk to me, tell me what's going on. And you can't articulate this type of shit sometimes. It's just there. So I mean, it's hard to be a military spouse. I'm a military spouse, but I was in the military, so I get it.
she understands.
But I couldn't imagine just going. I tell my husband all the time, like, if I wasn't in the military, I would divorce your ass, because you all this goddamn PTSD and sleeping and jumping and shit. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Lucky I was in the military. I hit him in the sleep sometimes. All that goddamn jumping, I can't help it.
She abused her husband.
Oh.
You don't know no difference. He beating himself up in his sleep.
But they're like, babe, you hit yourself in the face. I don't know what
I
happened.
don't know.
Swinging and shit. But it's hard. It's hard. So they do have, it's a podcast actually devoted to military wives. We were just on that show, Behind the Service. And they actually do a really good job at helping to keep a nice caretaker community. So they do an excellent job. There's a lot of support groups out there.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything. My dad served in Vietnam. I've not heard one thing about any details, just like funny stories. But
Yeah.
and he hasn't shared a thing with anybody. And that's my entire family's military. My uncle worked at he was almost at the White House at West Point, you know, and he was really high up there. And my other uncle was also in the Army, and I haven't heard a thing about
Yeah,
it.
and men are different though. Men in general don't talk a lot, right?
Right.
And so, especially you add trauma to it, they're really closed off. So that's why we have these veteran groups like the American Legion and stuff like that. Because if you get men working with their hands, for the most part, they will start talking to you while they're working. So that's why these Team Rubicons and shit, they'll build a whole community for you and tell you their whole story. And their wives are like, I've never even heard this shit before. But if you get them working, because soldiers need a mission. We need something to do.
Right.
So if you give them a mission and they start working toward it,
And just start talking.
blah, 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 you never get them shut the fuck up.
But if you ask them directly, like, hey, so what was your experience like? Oh, I was there, I survived. You'd be like, obviously, but like, tell me something.
Yeah,
And
it's
like,
that strong part.
they tell you all the good stuff and all the good things that they've done, but they don't tell you about the tragic things. Like right
Really
now,
hard.
I'm a guy, he's in the Air Force.
You're
and
dating a guy in the Air Force?
Yeah.
Oh.
He's had multiple.
I mean, he ain't bought no TV or nothing yet.
Nah, he ain't bought me no TV.
Throw him away.
I ain't got no TV, so I don't know if it's gonna last yet.
What's his number?
I ain't get a TV. I get a 65-inch or a 70-inch. It's forever for us then. But so far, I ain't got no TV. I ain't got no TV. But he's been on multiple deployments, and he doesn't talk about his stories either. And we don't talk about our stories together. We'll talk about some like light shit, like basic training or a couple of deployment things that happen. But it's a couple times like I talked to him and he said, oh yeah, I seen this, and this. And I'm like, you ain't never tell me this shit. Like, I get it, but I'm like, he's never told me, like, he gonna volunteer the stories. I have to pull it out of him.
Yeah.
But I know how it feels to have a story pulled from me, so I don't pull from him unless he want to talk about it. So if you don't fuck with me, I don't fuck with him about it.
Yeah.
But it's different when, like, my previous relationship, just dating a civilian, they want to know everything that happened, and you like, I don't want to talk about it. Because to talk about it, I'm very
reliving it.
I'm reliving it. Like my imagination, like I can talk about it and then next thing you know, I can see the whole day. I can feel the weather. I can smell the air. I can smell the mortar rounds. I can everything starts to draw back. And now I'm in this place that I have to do something happy or see something happy or tell a joke or something to pull myself out. Yeah. And he didn't understand my PTSD. After a while, he became like a little passive aggressive because I was feeling depressed about shit that was going on with me. And I was like, no, it's my PTSD. And he's like, well, how? Like, wasn't your deployment like 5 years ago?
Oh my God.
Like, he didn't get it. I was like, why don't you do some research? Because I'm like, it could be a fucking smell. I can go outside and smell something and be like, what the fuck?
Triggered.
And he didn't understand. It was like, it was so long ago. Like, it doesn't fucking matter, dude.
Oh my God.
They could talk about childhood trauma and relive the shit like it was yesterday. But you'd be like, oh, dude, come on. That was 25 years ago. And they'll be like, well, so fucking what? It bothered me. Same fucking thing.
Also, they don't have the ability to be empathetic. It's hard to share something with someone that hasn't gone through trauma, because then you're like, you're not going to understand. And I don't want you looking at me like you should feel sorry for me, because, nobody wants that.
Exactly.
That horror look in their face, it fucking irritates me. They be like, stop looking at me.
Yeah, I still want to fuck you later, so can you stop that? Like, right? You're like, hello.
You don't have to do that. Yeah.
Oh,
exactly. Like, if she tell me a horrible story, I'll be like, man, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
I ain't over here like,
bleeding heart. Like, just
come into my bosom. You're like, no, Jesus.
Right here.
Let me take you.
There. You're like, fuck off me.
Yeah, come on. We all live another
The
day.
good part about the book too is just I think a lot of people think it's just all military, but if you've been through trauma, you understand trauma. No matter what the fuck what experience it was, like you get it and you get how to overcome trauma or going through the overcoming stages of trauma.
100%.
And so that was the underlying, like anybody can read the book. It's not just for military personnel.
I have a tough time with people that become I think we talked about this over DM, but that like live in victim mentality and like don't move past it and they just want to be a victim the whole time. It drives me bananas. Like I'm like, okay, yes, the PTSD, I get it, and I'm empathetic to that, and it's you're having it down, and then but you can't live your entire life.
Exactly.
You have to, right. So what advice, as we close out, what advice can you give everyone to be like you guys? What is how do we become doers and not wallow?
I think it's all in the resilience. Like you really got to hunt the good stuff and what's going on. I could be a chronic optimist, as Tonnisha kind of jokes with me sometimes, but you got to hunt the good stuff. Shit will happen all around you. And if you stay in shit too long, you don't smell it no more. So you have to find yourself getting around people who can smell the flowers and tell you that you smell like shit. Find some truthful ass people in your circle and tell you, hey, you got some shit going on. So you can clean it up and move on. But other than that, you can't see past the clutter while you're in it. You have to find some way, an ounce of light to get up and try your best to move forward. Just all you need is a little bit of light.
Yes.
To get out of the darkness. Just a little bit.
I love that.
Okay. I get intense about that part, right? Okay,
no,
good.
I
truck doors coming out.
to help me out of my downs, I typically try to dive into the things that I love doing. So I like going to the shooting range. I like listening to music. I can put on headphones and dance around to my favorite songs until I get tired, or go and talk to my friends. A lot of them are people that were in the service. So we can have a whole conversation without even talking. We could just sit, trip out, make jokes, have a glass of wine. So it's just finding that good support group, having those people that won't judge you. So, and surround yourself with them. That way you can lay everything out and allow them to just listen and not respond and just hear you out and let you vent and let you just be your authentic self. Yeah. So it's like just finding a group that you can be your true self with. And
have you guys ever been like a disaster around each other, like a full down disaster, and you forgave each other for that? You move forward, you didn't judge?
No, yeah, we've been full on. Snotting, crying around one another at some point, and it happens. It just we work it out. And sometimes you just need to talk it out. Sometimes it's not that you need anybody to say anything back to you. And I think I've had these points too, where she just listens. It's like, but she's bad she get awkward sometimes with emotions. But
really, you break down crying. I'll be like,
oh. Sometimes she has no clue what but that's okay though. We accept that about one another.
I don't know why, because it's like I don't know how to make you stop.
Have you seen that meme where they have that chihuahua with the weird underbite and he's like person that's awkward around people with emotions, like, do you want some water?
Yeah, okay. That's right.
Somebody crying to me on video and they just break out in tears. I just be like,
she's that person. But I would actually try to get you a resource with. Tonnisha is terrible at this.
I can get resources. It's just that like when somebody break out and cry, like unless we're both crying, but if I'm okay and then you're crying, it's like.
Oh.
I used to manage a bunch of gyms, and somebody was like crying to me, and they were like, and I need to give a 30-day notice, and I go, you can chill on the tears, I'll take your 30 days. I was like, this ain't that serious.
Just bring it out the crowd.
Yeah. I absolutely love you guys so much.
We love you too. This has been a lot of fun.
It was so fun. Okay, so your podcast, I know it, but you guys say all of your links and your personal links and whatever you want to share.
Combat Diva Podcast. You can find us on IG. You can find us on Facebook as the Combat Diva Podcast. You can find us on Twitter. What's that? Combat Diva Podcast 1.
Combat Divas Pod 1.
Combat Divas Pod 1.
Okay.
But on our Instagram, you can click the link in the bio and you'll find all different ways to where you can listen.
We're on pretty much every platform.
Do you have it? Do you have your link tree? Did you do a link tree? Okay,
there
good job. Nice.
So yeah, it's we mostly use iTunes for most of it, right? But we love it.
Awesome.
Can't wait for the people to come out and share it.
It'll be so fun. Okay, so you just have your regular combat. It's Diva or Divas plural?
Divas. Plural. Yeah.
Perfect. And then if people want to reach out, they can just reach out through that. The book is available.
It's available right now for pre-order, for pre-sale on the website is unfeatheredink.com/press. So if you go to that link, which is also in our bio, then boom, you can get the book for pre-sale and they'll be shipping out at the end of January.
Okay, awesome. And then you should definitely do a live tour with that.
We definitely, when America decides to clear up, then definitely we definitely want to do a live tour.
Find us some hazmat suits, so we'll catch Corona.
Open up Barnes and Noble. Yeah, but
let me set something up for you here in New York City. That would be
amazing.
Oh my God.
I'm holding you too. I love New York.
Yes, come.
I got you. I can't wait to go to New York.
I love it there. I would never live there, but I love it there. It's so crowded.
It's so crowded.
So crowded.
And it looks amazing.
The traffic is hell. Like I drove through New York,
not the city,
to get to the suburbs. Like, cause I had a friend, she stayed in Newburgh.
Okay.
But I drove from JFK to get to Newburgh, and like the like if you blink, you can fuck around and end up in another borough somewhere. So I'm like, I turned around so many times because it's like it splits. And then if you're not confident in driving, because I didn't know what the fuck I was, you got people that are like, like flipping you. I'm like,
you don't have time for that shit.
Like I have to fucking like just get my driver mode in. It's crazy out there.
I drive a truck through the city every day. I'm like, watch out. See this dick? It's huge. All right. I know, I love it, but I'm from the Midwest, so yes. Okay, we're gonna do this. This is gonna be awesome. Okay, beautiful. I love you guys. Make sure everybody follow them at Combat Divas Podcast on Instagram. That's where most of my followers are. Facebook, everything. Make sure to go check out their link. I will also post it on Happy Never After Podcast on Instagram, Happy Never HNA Pod on Facebook, HNA Pod on Twitter. And yeah, follow me directly at Mara Merrick or follow the network at befranknetwork.com. Okay, we'll talk to you next week. Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you. Bye.